For so long, we've been taught that getting wealthy is all about sacrifice, right? About cutting back. But what if that's totally backward? What if the real key isn't how much you make, but the system you have in place to manage what you make? That's what we're going to break down right now. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This one question flips pretty much everything we've been told about money on its head. It kind of suggests that all the stress, all the guilt, all the tracking every single dollar, maybe we're just focusing on the wrong thing entirely. And this just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the warrior. They're totally burnt out, micromanaging every cent, and they're still not getting ahead. But then, over here, you have the automator. They're actually enjoying their life, spending guilt-free, because they've got this silent engine building their wealth for them in the background. See, the difference isn't their paycheck, it's their system. So, how do we become the automator? Well, here's the game plan. First, we're going to figure out why the old way just doesn't work. Then, we'll look at the tools you need. After that, we'll build the investment engine that does the heavy lifting. Then, the fun part. We put the whole thing on autopilot. And finally, we'll get to the single most important and maybe surprising step in the whole process. All right, part one. The problem is your system. The big idea here is that just trying harder isn't going to work if the framework you're using is broken. It's not a you problem, it's a design problem. It's not about willpower. And this quote is the absolute core of it. It takes the blame off of you, off that coffee you bought or that trip you took, and puts it where it belongs, on the fact that you don't have a solid automated system. I'm telling you, once you really get that, it changes everything. Okay, so if this system is the issue, what does a better one look like? That takes us to part two, your wealth building tools. We're about to look at some financial products you see every day and reframe them, not as things to be scared of, but as really powerful instruments. A perfect example is credit cards. Conventional wisdom says they're dangerous debt traps, but in the right system, they're amazing tools for getting rewards, cash back, and even fraud protection. Now here's the key, the non-negotiable part, you have to automate the payment so the full balance gets paid off every single month. You do that, you get all the upside with none of the downside. So where do we actually start building this thing? The first, most logical, highest impact move is to grab any free money on the table. And for most people, that's going to be whatever retirement match your employer is offering. And listen, this isn't just a US thing. This is a global principle. In the States, yeah, it's the 401k match. In the UK, it's the employer contribution to a workplace pension. In Canada, you got the RRSP. Over in Germany, the Betriebliche Altersvorsorge. The names are all different, but the idea is exactly the same. Your boss is literally offering to give you extra money. Turning this down is like refusing a raise. It's a no-brainer. But I know what some of you are thinking. What if I don't have an employer? What if I'm a freelancer or I own my own business? Well, you're not left out in the cold. You just have to build your own door to walk through. And there are some seriously powerful options out there for you. In the US, you've got the SEP IRA, which can actually let you contribute way more than a 401k. In the UK, the Stocks and Shares ISA offers incredible tax-free growth. Canada's RRSP, as we said, works for the self-employed too. And Germany has the Rente, designed specifically for you. The point is, the tools are there. You just have to know they exist. Okay, so you've got the money flowing into the right accounts. Fantastic. That brings us to part three. The investment engine. This answers the next big question. What do you actually buy with that money once it's in there? Now, here's something that trips a lot of people up. The goal is not to be some stock-picking genius who beats the market. Nope. In fact, trying to do that is exactly how most people end up losing. The real goal is much simpler. Just capture the market's natural growth without making silly mistakes. And the simplest, most effective way to do that is with something called an index fund. Seriously, think of it like this. Instead of trying to find the one winning needle in a haystack, you just buy the whole haystack. You own a tiny piece of the entire economy. You're not betting on Apple or Google, you're just betting that over the long run, business as a whole will grow. It's cheap, it's simple, and it works. And the fuel that makes this engine run is compounding. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, but over time, it gets bigger and bigger, faster and faster. Your money starts making its own money. It's an unstoppable force of nature. But here's the catch. You can never, ever interrupt it. You have to stay in. which brings us to the magic trick. Part 4, the automated operating system. This is the glue that holds everything together, and best of all, makes it completely effortless. This is how you turn good intentions into automatic, guaranteed results. And the process is just beautiful. It's so simple. First, money gets zapped out of your paycheck and sent straight to your retirement and investment accounts. It happens before you even see it. Then, whatever is left over in your checking account, well, that's yours. Go spend it on anything you want. There's zero guilt because you know the important stuff, your future, is already handled. And this is what allows for something called conscious spending. This is the total opposite of a budget. It's not about cutting back on everything. It's about figuring out what you truly love. Maybe it's travel, maybe it's eating at great restaurants, and then spending extravagantly on that stuff. At the same time, you find the things you don't really care about and cut back on them mercilessly. Because the things that really wreck your wealth aren't the lattes. No way. It's these invisible leaks. It's paying high fees you don't have to, year after year. It's letting a pile of cash get eaten alive by inflation. And maybe the biggest one of all, just waiting too long to start or never asking for the raise you deserve. Okay, and that brings us to the very end, the most important step of all. So you've done it. You built a system, the money is flowing, the investments are set. So now what? That's it. That's the secret. The hardest part of this whole thing isn't setting it up. It's having the discipline to leave it alone, to fight that urge you're going to have to tinker with it, to react to some scary headline on the news, or to panic when the market gets shaky. You've got to remember, the calm, rational you who designed this beautiful, simple system is way, way smarter than the emotional, panicked you that shows up when things get weird. This system was built for the long haul. You have to trust it. So, when you boil it all down, it just comes down to one decision. One single action to get started. So that's the challenge I'm leaving you with. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Make one choice right now. Just one. Maybe it's automating that first $500 transfer. Maybe it's upping your 401k contribution by just 1%. Or maybe it's finally opening that investment account you've been putting off. Do one thing to set this powerful system in motion. So what's it going to be?